Imagine a map of human sin, not just a list of bad things, but a precise, philosophical architecture of evil, where every kind of wrongdoing has its own place, its own punishment, perfectly mirroring the crime, and its own depth in an eternal underground. Over 700 years ago, a heartbroken Italian poet built exactly that, and the structure he created was so precise, so psychologically acute, that it still defines how the Western world thinks about guilt, punishment, and the human soul. This is Dante's Inferno, and it is far stranger, far darker, and far more brilliant than anything you were taught in school. Dante Alighieri was born in Florence, Italy, in 1265, a time of political chaos, religious corruption, and bitter factional warfare. He was a philosopher, a politician, and a poet, deeply in love with a woman named Beatrice, who died young and became his spiritual symbol of divine beauty. When his political faction lost power, Dante was exiled from Florence under threat of death and never returned. It was in exile, stripped of everything, that he wrote the Divine Comedy, a three-part epic journey through hell, purgatory, and heaven. The Inferno, the first part, became the most famous literary description of hell ever written. But here's what most people miss. It wasn't just theology. It was a devastatingly precise philosophical and political statement about the world Dante saw around him. The Inferno opens with one of the most famous lines in all of literature. Midway upon the journey of our life, I found myself in a dark wood, for the straight path had been lost. Dante, at age 35, the midpoint of a biblical human lifespan, finds himself spiritually lost in a dark forest, unable to climb toward the light he can see at the top of a hill, blocked by three terrifying beasts: a leopard representing lust, a lion representing pride, and a she-wolf representing greed. The ancient Roman poet Virgil, the symbol of human reason, appears to guide him through hell and purgatory. The message is already profound. Reason, not faith alone, is the tool that allows us to confront the darkest parts of ourselves. Dante's hell is not a single place. It is 9 concentric circles, each deeper, darker, and more severe than the last. The first circle is limbo, and it's unlike anything you'd expect from hell. Here, there is no torture, no fire, no screaming. There is only sadness, a permanent, gentle sorrow. Limbo is where the virtuous pagans reside, the great philosophers, poets, and thinkers who lived good lives but were born before Christianity or never received baptism. Aristotle, Homer, Socrates, Plato, Virgil himself. Dante places them not in paradise, but not in punishment either. In a state of perfect intellectual existence, eternally separated from God by the single fact of their birth. This is perhaps Dante's most philosophically daring move, suggesting that virtue alone is not enough. Context matters, history matters, and that idea is as unsettling today as it was in 1320. Deeper now, and the punishment begins. The second circle is for the lustful, those who allowed passion to completely override their reason. Here, the souls are eternally swept in a violent, howling whirlwind, never able to rest, never able to stop, forever tossed like leaves in a storm. The punishment mirrors the sin. Just as lust swept them away in life, a storm sweeps them forever in death. Dante meets the famous tragic lovers, Paolo and Francesca here, 2 real people from Dante's own lifetime who fell into an adulterous affair and were murdered by Francesca's husband. He is moved to tears by their story. He even faints. This is Dante at his most human, and it reveals something important. This hell is not a place of cold divine judgment. It is a place of deep moral empathy, where the poet weeps for the condemned. The third circle holds the gluttonous, those who lived only for physical appetite, wallowing eternally in a foul, freezing slush of rain, hail, and black snow, guarded by Cerberus, the three-headed dog. The punishment is visceral and deliberate. Those who consumed mindlessly in life are consumed by filth in death. The fourth circle punishes the greedy and the wasteful, two opposing groups of sinners forced to spend eternity crashing enormous weights against each other in an endless futile clash. Opposite sins, same prison. Dante's moral logic is becoming clear. The punishment doesn't just hurt. It perfectly reflects and inverts the sin. Hell isn't arbitrary cruelty. It is justice through metaphor. The fifth circle is the realm of the wrathful, those who gave into rage, fighting each other violently in the dark, muddy waters of the river Styx. Beneath the surface, the sullen, those who smothered their joy in gloomy bitterness, gurgled their grief endlessly below the waterline. Then Dante reaches the city of Dis, the gates of lower hell, marking a crucial moral boundary. From here, the sins are no longer failures of appetite or passion. They are sins of will, deliberate, chosen evil. The sixth circle punishes heretics, those who denied the immortality of the soul, trapped in burning tombs, their lids left open until Judgment Day. The punishment is pointed. Those who denied the afterlife are shown exactly what the afterlife looks like, from the inside of a flaming coffin. The seventh circle is the realm of violence, and Dante divides it into 3 rings, each punishing a different kind. The outer ring submerges murderers and tyrants in a boiling river of blood. The middle ring holds suicides, transformed into twisted trees, their leaves eternally eaten by harpies. Perhaps Dante's most hauntingly poetic punishment, because those who destroyed their own bodies are denied a human body, even in death. The inner ring is reserved for blasphemers and those who did violence against God and nature, burning on a plain of flaming sand beneath a rain of fire. Each ring is more intimate in its horror than the last. The violence becomes personal. And with that intimacy, Dante forces the reader to confront something deeply uncomfortable: the many different ways a human being can choose to destroy. The eighth circle is the largest, the most elaborate, and in many ways, the most damning. Dante calls it Malbolge. Evil pockets, a vast amphitheater of 10 concentric ditches, each punishing a different category of fraud: seducers and panderers whipped by demons, flatterers submerged in human excrement, corrupt clergy buried upside down in rock with their feet on fire, fortune tellers with their heads twisted permanently backward so they can only look behind them. Each punishment is a precise, almost satirical inversion of the sin. But what makes this circle so politically explosive is who Dante puts here. Real popes, real politicians, real public figures from his own lifetime. Dante's hell is not an abstract moral system. It is a scathing, personal indictment of the corrupt world he lived in and the powerful people who destroyed it. And at the very bottom of hell, the ninth and deepest circle, is the most surprising thing in all of Dante's vision. You might expect fire, screaming, maximum torture. Instead, what Dante finds is silence, ice. The ninth circle punishes traitors, those who betrayed their family, their country, their lord, their benefactor. And at the absolute center of the earth, frozen waist deep in ice, is Lucifer himself, enormous, three-headed, weeping, eternally chewing on the three greatest traitors in history: Judas, who betrayed Christ, and Brutus and Cassius, who betrayed Julius Caesar. The genius of this image is devastating. Satan, the supposed Lord of Hell, is not a ruler. He is a prisoner. His enormous wings beat endlessly, generating the freezing wind that keeps the ice solid. His power has literally become his cage, and the coldness is intentional. Dante believed the ultimate evil was not passion, not anger, but the complete absence of love, a frozen heart. Here is the core of what makes Dante's Inferno so much more than a medieval nightmare. Its punishments are never random. They follow a precise philosophical logic. The contrapasso, Latin for counter-suffering, where each soul's punishment perfectly mirrors, inverts, or extends their sin in life. The fortune tellers who tried to see the future now walk with their heads twisted backward, able only to see the past. The flatterers who used words to manipulate are submerged in excrement, the true value of their speech. The fraudsters are masked and disguised even in death. The structure itself is a philosophical argument. Sin is not just a moral failure. It is a corruption of your essential human function. And damnation is not punishment handed down from outside. It is the full, eternal realization of what you already chose to become. In this reading, hell is not a place God sends you to. It is a place you build in life by the choices you make. Dante's genius is to make you see it from the inside. Dante wrote the Inferno in exile, stripped of his city, his career, and his home, watching the world he loved be consumed by corruption, greed, and political betrayal. His hell was not an abstract theological exercise. It was a diagnosis. 700 years later, the diagnosis feels uncomfortably current. Corruption shielded by power, institutions that betray their purpose, public figures who lie as a professional tool, the quiet violence of indifference. Dante's deepest circle, the one reserved for traitors, is frozen, not burning, because for Dante, the worst evil was never passion out of control. It was the deliberate, cold choice to betray what you owe to others. Perhaps the question Dante really wanted us to sit with, the one that outlasted every political and religious context of his time, is the simplest and most uncomfortable one. If hell is the place you build from your choices, then what are you building right now? If Dante's philosophical map of sin made you think differently about guilt, punishment, or the choices we make, subscribe for more journeys through philosophy, mythology, and the great works of human thought. And tell me in the comments, which circle of Dante's hell surprised you most? And more importantly, which one made you most uncomfortable?